Hello, welcome back to Cracking the Cryptic. Now, this sort of email, it's not the first time we've had an email like this, but it catches you out every time. Not that it matters says to us, my son Josh's birthday is on Friday, April 28th. I've constructed a puzzle for him entitled Nothing's Perfect. He's recently had a diagnosis of cancer, and I thought this might cheer him and me up. He'll be turning the maximum sum for a 5-digit killer cage. If you might have a go at the puzzle, it would be appreciated. Well, I mean, our hearts go out to you, both to Not That It Matters and to Josh. Happy 35th birthday is about all I can say. I don't know. If I'm not going to say that you being strong and battling or us praying is going to help. But I'm not going to say it's going to do any harm either. So we'll do our part. And I will certainly have a go at this puzzle. And we'll see how that goes. I don't know what else to say except the absolute best of luck to all of you. And I hope it goes as well as it possibly can from this point. Now, yeah, we'll look at the puzzle in just a moment. I'll do the rules then. Firstly, don't forget that on Patreon in just a couple of days from now, on the 1st, we'll be releasing Demono's brilliant story, embedded Sudoku hunt within it, and it's really good. You will enjoy that if you're with us on Patreon. And there's all our apps as well, so check out the links under the video. You'll also find Sudoku Pad and the merchandise if you want. But the rules of Not That It Matters puzzle called Nothing's Perfect. I don't know if that, if we're meant to read this as Nothing's Perfect, which is clearly true, but Not That It Matters is a response to that, or whether the pseudonym came first. But anyway, what's the story about Persian carpets? That they always have a deliberate mistake in them because only God is perfect. Something like that. Anyway, normal Sudoku rules apply. So we're going to be putting 1 to 9 in every row, column and 3x3 box in this unbelievably sparse grid. Actually, just take a moment. Look at this grid. I mean, it's called Nothing's Perfect. It is nearly perfect. I mean, maybe it is perfect. It's an amazing grid. So normal Sudoku rules. Now, within each row, column and box is one marker cell. Marker cells contain all digits except 6. The row for each marker cell is indicated in row 1 of the grid. For example, if row 1 column 2 equals 9, then row 9 column 2 is a marker. So it's indexing in row 1. I bet it's indexing in column 1. It is. The column for each marker cell is indicated in column 1 of the grid. For example, if row 3 column 1 is a 7, then row 3 column 7 is a marker. So this would be saying that in this row, the marker appears in the 7th column there. The position for each marker cell within a box is indicated in the lower right corner of the box, position 9. So in this box, in that box, this cell, it's always the lower right corner, is indicating the position of this digit. Oh, well, this would be impossible because that is position 7. You count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you'd have to put a 7 in that cell, and that would actually clash with that. So this is an impossibility. And maybe that's going to give us some clue how we solve it. In this box, it's okay. That is in position 8. So you'd have an 8 there. So that would work. This wouldn't. But this is a possible start to the puzzle. I mean, well, no, that's not. Anyway, it's all about indexing. No, it's not all about indexing because we have black dots. What do they tell us? Black Kropki dots in the grid indicate adjacent cells in the ratio of 2 to 1. One cell is twice the other. Normal enough. Here it comes. All black dots are shown. And there's only 2 of them. So there's a huge old negative constraint. And given the limits of indexing, surely that's going to be doing a lot of work. Now, Simon did a puzzle with a totally empty grid recently. I think it was Jay Dyer, wasn't it? Who no, it wasn't. It was a name beginning with F. Frogger or something. Farker, I think. I think it was, and I've got that name slightly wrong, but I'm not far off there, who created an extraordinary empty grid. And this is virtually the same. Maybe it'll solve in a similar fashion. Let's hope I can remember some of it if it does. But I mean, that's a fascinating rule set, an unbelievably empty grid. It's not that complicated a rule set. We're just indexing from row 1, column 1, and position 9. And we're only indexing marker cells. Now, the only thing we know about those marker cells, they don't fulfill a function. They just contain all the digits except 6. Give it a try on the link under the video. You may be able to judge from the video length how hard it is, or you may not, because this feels like the sort of puzzle where you could just miss something for ages. I don't know. I'm going to start now. Let's get cracking. And let's get cracking in this case means let's just get thinking. Now my silly brain is telling me just write a 1 in there and call it a marker cell. Because didn't that happen in that other puzzle? Wasn't there some reason why the column 1 number, yeah, okay, let's just think about it this way. There is a 1 in this row somewhere. That 1 is indexing its column, and it is saying that the marker cell in its column is in the first row, and therefore that 1 in this row is a marker cell. And in this column the same is true. There is a 1 that is a marker cell for its row. Oh no, that's so annoying. Okay, in the other puzzle, you could, based on that, write in a 1 here and say that is the marker cell, because there could only be one marker cell that had a 1 in it. That's my point, sorry. I must make that clear. The rules of that puzzle were that these marker cells, I don't know what they were called in that, they weren't called that, but they acted in the same way. They had the digits 1 to 9 in, so there was only one of them with a 1 in. And unfortunately, in this puzzle, we cannot say that that's true, because we're told not that marker cells contain all the digits, but that they contain all the digits except 6. And I think what that means, I think it has to be right. What that means is that one of the 9 digits is repeated in those 9 marker cells. All the others appear once except 6. But annoyingly, that means 1 could be repeated. So there could be a 1 somewhere along this row and another 1 somewhere down this column. And we can't necessarily write a 1 in here. Now, the other difference, well, another difference, is that that other puzzle was indexing the cells from position 1 in each box, I think. Not 100%, maybe it was indexing them from the marker cells. I don't remember. This one's indexing them from position 9. Oh, right. Okay, I'll tell you what. My silly brain told me to put a 1 in here and make it a marker cell. And that is what you would do if you believed that there was only one marker cell 1 in this puzzle, which at the beginning is kind of 8 to 1 chance that there's an 8 to 1 chance that it's not a marker cell that's a 1. It's very likely there's only one marker cell, because for 8 of the Sudoku digits, no, for 7 of the Sudoku digits, there is only one marker cell. But But, if you put a 1 that was a marker cell there, because there was only 1 in the grid that was a marker cell, then what would this be? This would be indicating position 1 in the box, and that would be another 1, and that's impossible. And we're away now. Well, we're not away, but we've got a deduction, and that deduction, weirdly, is that... Well, am I saying that this is not a 1? I'm saying it's not a 1 in a marker cell. The deduction I've got is that there are 2 1s, because we're not putting a single 1 marker cell in there. There are 2 marker cell 1s in this puzzle. So I now know that the marker cells contain all digits except 6, and they contain 1 twice. So they have 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9 in. Wow. Okay, well, I've learned something. I don't know how to use it, but I've learned something. Okay, what I'm going to do, I've only just realized, what I must do is color these indexing cells. Now, I'm not going to color them red because I want to do that. I want to use red for the marker cell. So let me color them yellow. Yellow are indexing cells. This is an indexing cell. All of these are indexing cells. There's an entropy thing going on. Again, this isn't really establishing anything, but it's something that I've thought of. I'm going to share it with you. It might help. The marker cells in these 3 columns, say, well, no, let's do it in these 3 columns because they're a bit cleaner. The marker cells in these 3 columns, there'll be 1 in this box, 1 in this box, and 1 in this box. Now, the 1 in this box will be indicated in this group of cells with its column index or its vertical index with a 1, 2, or 3. The 1 in this one will get a 4, 5, or 6 because its marker will be in row 4, 5, or 6. And the 1 in this one, 7, 8, or 9. And that is going to apply to this set of 3 cells, therefore. And the same is going to be true to that set, that set, that set, that set, and that set of digits. I'm not sure if these have to be a set of the digits 1 to 9. They could be. I don't think they have to be. I think this was something that was thought about for a while in the last puzzle. I don't know. Now, come on. Entropy applies. I know the set of the digits in the marker cells. What else can I possibly do? It's so hard to think of anything I can possibly do. I don't see how to use these black cells yet. Black dots. I don't see how to use the huge old negative constraint yet. I don't know what to do. Right, I think we've established the marker cell is not here. Because if it was, it would be a 1. There would be only 1, 1. We worked, and that would be another 1. Yes, this is important. Can the marker cell be here? Then we would be putting a 2 here and a 2 here. Because it would be in position 2, and in this row it would be in number 2. So these don't work. Because that marker cell there would also require a 3 here and a 3 there. Now, what about this? That's not so clear. Well, okay, I've reduced the position in the box to 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9. I'm just going to take that win for the moment and then think about this cell. If this was the marker cell, that would be a 2 for the column. This would be a 1. And that would be a 4. Now, that doesn't work for a black dot reason. You'd have a 2 next to a 1. I'm going to use it. I'm going to take out 4. What about here? This would be a 7. This would be a 1. That would be a 2. Oh, this can't be a 2 You can't put a 1, 2 or 3 in the corner because that would imply, well, we worked out why it couldn't be a 1. You can't put a 2 or a 3 in this corner because a 2 would require 2 marker cells there, because that 2 would be acting as a guide both for the row and the column, and a 3 would put 2 marker cells there and they'd still be in the same box. So this is not 1, 2 or 3, and for that reason you can't have a marker in any of those positions. Okay, so we're down to 5, 6, 8 or 9. I think there's something going on with these as well. If that was the marker cell, those would both have to be a 2. If that was the marker cell, those would both have to be a 3. So this is not 5 or 9. Well, not bingo. It's 6 or 8. And one of these two is the marker cell. Now, what would this require of all the various... Yeah, this would need a 2 there and a 3 there. This would need a 3 there and a 2 there. And one of them is a marker. So one of these is a 2 and one of these is a 3. And entropy will still prevail. There's only one low number in those 3 and one low number in those 3. And this is 6 if it's there or 8 if it's there. Now, does any black dot rule... Ooh. Does any black dot rule force one of these to be right? The trouble is you don't know what goes in the marker. Nothing says anything about that. Still, I know I'm 10 minutes in, but I actually feel like I've made some progress, weirdly, just by getting that constrained down to 2 digits. This puzzle promises to be an absolute monster, at least until we get the ball rolling. And that could be ages away. Now, what is going on next? Come on. I think maybe I have to work through the possibilities. It gets quite interesting. If this was a 6, this is the marker and this is a 2. Now, then you would have a 2 and a 6 in the column, and this pair could only be a 4-8 pair. The trouble is, if this is an 8 and this is the marker, then I don't know anything else about the column. You get a 2 here and a 3 here. And I don't know what else happens. And that doesn't limit this much. I mean, if that's an 8, yes, this can't be an 8-4 pair, but there are still 3 pairs it could be in either orientation. What about this cell? It's just not as helpful. I mean, obviously you can only put 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 or 8 on a black Kropki dot, but this is just pencil fest. I don't know what good it is to write that in. Now, do I have to branch out from box 1? Looking along the row, it does no good. I mean, if that's an 8, yes, that's a 2. I mean, you can constrain 4 to those positions. It's just useless. Right, what about this? What about this cell, which does act in... This is the only cell in the puzzle which acts twice as an indexing cell. And it's not 1, 2 or 3. Now, if it was a 4, you'd have a 1 there and a 1 there. That won't work for a weird reason, because one of these has to be a 2 and it would get a black dot with a 1 next to it. 4 would put 1s in both of those positions because these would be the marker cells. Effectively, this is not just positioning the marker cells, it's positioning the 1s in the row and column. So that's not a 4. That will be the only one I can rule out by proximity to box 1, by the way. If this is a 5, you get 1s there and there. I can't see consequences of that. Oh, hang on, yes, this sets these numbers, doesn't it? Right, so if this is a 5, you get 1s in those positions. This becomes a 4. because it's got to index that position in its box, and this one becomes a 2. Ooh, that doesn't work. That doesn't work for a weird reason. If that's a 5, the 2 that you get here from the 1 there means that that's not a 2. Now that's a 2, which means this is a marker cell, this is an 8, and this is a 4. You've got 4, 8 and 2 there. Oh, bother. No, you haven't got 4, 8 and 2 there. Hang on. If this is a 5, that's a 1. That's a 2. This is not a 2. That's a 2. This is the marker. That's a 6. Yes, this does work because you've got a 2 there, a 6 there, and a 4 here, and there is no combination down on the black dot. That's weird, but I'm taking it. That's not a 5. Now, if that's a 6, I mean, there doesn't seem any way I'm going to eliminate everything, but let's try it. We'd get 1s in these positions. That would require a 7 indexer here and a 3 here, which look very unlikely to be problematic. Six looks like it works fine. What if they were a 7? You'd get 1s here and here. That doesn't work because both of these would have to be a 1 in the same box as a 1 there. That cannot be a 7. Right, come on, 6, 8 or 9. If it was 8, you'd get 1s in these positions. That would be a 4. Right, if this is 8, that becomes a 6 by Sudoku, which puts a marker here and a 2 here, and that's a 4, and this is a 1, and that's an 8. I think that does work. Oh, hang on though. If that's an 8, that's a 6. And this is a 1, and that's a 2. And that does work as well. Oh, bother. Hang on. If it's a 9, oh, I could get a 6, 8 pair if I can rule out 9. It's worth a try. These would both be 1s. That would have to be a 7, and that's not one of the possible digits. If that was a 1 because that was a 9, this indexer cell would be a 7, and it can't be. That is not a 9. We have got a 6, 8 pair. It feels like something. No, we can't have a 6 here because one of those is a 3, and that would need a black dot. Yes. Struggle is sometimes worth the price. Oh, wow. So we get an 8 there. We get to put in 1s here. We index those from these cells. That's a 2. That is a 4. Now, this 6 says this is a marker cell. That's not. This becomes a 2. This, by the way, in my personal opinion, is highly complex. That is indexing that cell as well. Every marker cell we can place will have 3 indices. Now this one can't be a 2. That is on the black dot. That's an 8. This is indexed there. No, that's not a marker cell. This is the marker cell. These are marker cells. So let's just make them red. This is not 1 or 8. This is not 4. That's not helpful. Oh, it feels so head-wrecking. Right, one of these 3 is a marker. And that's going to need a 3 up there. It's also going to need a 4, 5 or 6 here. Well, it can't be a 6, so that is not the marker cell. It's here or here. That is not a 3. We've got to do entropy again, haven't we? This cell is a middly digit as well. That is 4 or 5, 2, because it's marking one of these 3 cells, and they get a 2 in one of those. We've got a 3 in that set, 2 in that, 1 in that. 8, 4, 5, oh look, we've got a 1, 7, 9 triple here. This can't be a 1 because we've had the 2 1s in marker cells. Each other digit appears once. 1 only appears twice. There is a 2 in those cells. Bit of Sudoku. You never know when it might come in handy. But now what? Oh, that's a 4 or a 5. It's not a 6, so that's not a marker. That's not a 2. I'm going to have to come up with something else entirely now. Oh, this is going to mark one of those two with a 7 or 8. This is going to mark one of those two with a 2 or a 5. Well, it can't be a 2 because we know one of those is a 2. So that's a 5. That's a marker. That's not. This is a 2. That has become a 5. Yes. That makes this a 4. That fixes this as a marker and not this. And this becomes a 3, marking that one. And this becomes a 7. Sorry, marking that one was what I was trying to say. Now, come on, more marking. More fun, more speed, more power. One of these is a 7 by Sudoku. That is going to put a marker in one of those two cells. So one of these 3 is oh yeah, that gives a 7 or 9 here as the, no, that's not 7 or 9, that's 1 or 3 as the index of those two. This one is indexing one of those 3. It can't be a 7 by Sudoku, so it's 8 or 9, and one of those two is a marker. I'm not forgetting the, what's it called, the negative constraint, but I'm just trying to do some general Sudoku. This now is indexing 5 or 6 there. Right. The middly digit in these 3 has to be a 5 by Sudoku. So that's a 5, and that is the marker, and this isn't. And that is an 8 marking that cell next to it, and this is not an 8 by Sudoku now. I don't know what to do about the pairs. Never mind about the pairs. We get a marker in one of those two, so this is a 3 or a 9. And this is a 4 or a 6 for its column, and this has become a 9. And here we have 7 or 4 or 6. So one of these cells is a marker. And over here we're marking either column 6, 7 or 9. 6, 7 or 9, 7 or 9. Now, the negative constraint. Surely something's opening up. I can't see anything in this box sorting itself out. The negative constraint is only on black dot Kropki, so it's not on white dot Kropki. 8, 4, 1, 5. Right, where does 2 go? Where does 2 go in this box? That's lovely. It obviously can't go next to 4, and it can't go next to 1, so that's a 2. It doesn't place anything, but it's very pretty. 1, 5, 2, 8, 4. 6 in the box can't go there. It's in one of those cells, and 6 mustn't go next to 3 because there's no black dot, so that's a 3. This is so elegant. This is from 179. These are from 679 and include a 6, and they're a quadruple with those, and this is a 3, 4, 8 triple. Now, what can we put in the red cell? Anything out of those. Bother. This one can't be a 1. I'd forgotten that. So this can't be a 2. This is either a 4-2 pair, top to bottom, or a 3-6 pair in either order. So in the red cells, where we have a population of 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, it can't be a 6, can it? I've forgotten that special rule that marker cells contain all digits except 6. I could remember they were a near set, but I couldn't remember that detail. Now, there's an 8 in one of those cells. This is 1, 3, 7 or 9 because it's marking the position within the box. Have I just failed to do any? No, I can't see it. I need the negative constraint again, don't I? 4 and 8 in this group. 4 needs to be 4 and 8 mustn't be touching or they'd get a black dot. So they need to be separated and chaperoned by Mr. 3 in the middle, and that places a 3 in the marker, and that fixes this marker, which can't be a 3 and becomes a 2. Now 4 is also in one of these cells and also needs a chaperone. And we don't know what digit is going to chaperone them, but we do know this means that 4 and 8 have to be kept apart here. And one of the red cells, one of the marker cells here is 4 or 8, but we haven't eliminated those digits. Now what about here? If this was the marker, it would be a 9, and that would apply, because we've had 3 as a marker, but this might not be the marker. If that's the marker, this is a 3, and that... No, that can't work. Is that right? If this is the... No, that does work. If this is the marker, it just has to be a number we haven't used yet on a red cell. And we would put a 9 in this yellow cell and we'd be happy with that. There's no problem. Oh, look, 3 can't be in those cells, so that's a 3. One of those is a 3. Whatever that is in one of these two. Now, are there any other negative constraints on black dot negative constraints I'm missing? There's a... no, there's a Sudoku. That 3 is looking at that. That is a 9. That is the marker cell this time. That is not the marker cell, and those two are not marker cells now. This one has got a 1 or a 3 in, because it's definitely one of these two. These don't have a 6 in. That's a 4-7 pair. This has become a 6, marking that cell. That also gets a 6 here. And that is now fully marked. And it's a 9 in a red cell, so this one becomes a 7. This is brilliant. Oh, this is mad and brilliant. 1-9 pair there. That's a 7. This is the last marker in row 4. That's not a marker. That's not a marker. This is... Don't know whether it's 4 or 8. I do know this is a 9, marking this cell. That's a 3. That's a 1. Oh, 3 in the corner. Party for 3 in the corner. Thank you. This is a 4. Oh, yeah, that's going to fix it. That's a 7. 4 is looking at that cell. All our marker cells are fully indexed, I believe, now. All the yellow cells are filled, including those ones which have been overwritten by red. Now, how are we doing on the marker cells? We've got 2 1s, 2, 3, 4, 7, 9. We're not using 6, so these other two are a 5-8 pair, and we've got an 8 sitting there. So 5, 8. All the marker cells are filled. That is a 2-4 pair by Sudoku. This is a 1-5 pair. Oh, that's beautiful. Not only is 8 sitting next to a number that can't be 4, or it would get a black dot, but now 2 is sitting next to a number that can't be 1. Oh, the negative constraint is doing its business now. 6, 8 and 9 here, but 8 can't be next to 4. 3 and 5 here, and that's Sudoku, and 3 is not allowed to be next to 6. I can't resolve those two yet. There's a 1 in this column there. Now 2 in the column can't be there next to 1s. Oh, and that also can't be 6 next to 3. So that's a 7. 2 and 6 there. I can place 2 in box 5. I can't place 6 as far as I can see yet. 8, 7, 1, 4, 3. This is an amazing puzzle. This is a naked single. It sees 1, 3, 4, 7, 8 in the box, 2, 9 in the row, 5 in the column. That's a 6. 1, 4, 3, 5, 8, 9 pair. I can't see what the negative constraint is doing. 2 can't be next to 1, so that's finished. 3, 4, 7 here. Now 3 can't be there for 2 reasons. 4 can't be here because of the negative constraint. So 4's in one of those cells, 3's in one of those, 7 doesn't really have any restrictions on it. Actually it does. There's a 7 over there. Okay, couldn't really sort that out. Now I've got a 5 and a 1 to place here. 1 mustn't be next to the 2. Oh, what is so brilliant here is the extent to which the negative constraint has just been allowed to do its work and create this empty grid. 683. I mean, it's absolutely a work of art. You know, people talk about Michelangelo, they talk about Leonardo, talk about Titian. They haven't seen this genius. 174. Now I'm going to rely on Not That It Matters to have made sure that there are no other negative constraints messing up the puzzle. But that is just incredible. That was the right answer. I mean, suddenly, where was I? 20 minutes in, I don't think I had a clue how the puzzle worked. Well, I'd been getting clues. I hadn't got a digit. And suddenly, short of half an hour, it's all done. The negative constraint is huge. But that only comes in after this utter brilliance with the positioning of the... I mean, how can you create a grid like this and there is only one way to fill those cells? It's amazing. Well, the puzzle is called Nothing's Perfect. It's about as close as I've seen for a long time, almost at all, to a perfect Sudoku puzzle. Absolutely brilliant. You know, Josh, I hope that cheers you up a bit, because if it doesn't, well, it might not, but I hope it does. But very well done, Not That It Matters. I am glad that you sent us that. Brilliant puzzle. Thank you very much, as always, for watching us on the channel. I very much hope to see you again tomorrow. Bye for now.